Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel and to my kitchen. This is another in our series of cooking basics, and it's going to be cheddar biscuits. And you might think, basic biscuits? They're kind of complicated. Not true, not these babies. You will have them in the oven in just a few minutes and they are fabulous. Easy to make. Let's get started on them. The ingredients and the recipe is going to be in the description, so don't worry about getting everything down right now. We have a cup of all-purpose flour, staple in the kitchen, and why do I never have everything I need? We need 1.5 teaspoons of sugar. Now there are 3 teaspoons in a tablespoon, so if you need 1.5 teaspoons, that's the same as 1/2 of a tablespoon. I have a measuring spoon that is 1/2 of a tablespoon. So it's 1.5 teaspoons of sugar, 1.5 teaspoons of garlic powder, and 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder. Now let me tell you a little bit something about baking powder. I bake on a regular basis, but when I buy baking powder, I always buy the smallest container they have because I want to make sure my baking powder is fresh. So it activates, so it does its job. Yes, it's less expensive to buy a big one, but if you don't bake a lot and it sits in your pantry, it's going to lose its potency. It's so inexpensive. Buy the small one. Little tip. All right, I'm going to stir all those together, and I need about 1/2 of a teaspoon of salt. And I'm just going to guesstimate that because I generally don't measure. So it's 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1.5 teaspoons baking powder, garlic powder, and sugar, and our 1 cup of flour. That is all of our dry ingredients in the bowl. We are going to add 1/2 stick of butter that I melted. I melted it by microwaving it for 30 seconds. And 1/2 stick of butter and 1/2 cup of milk, which I did not milk the cow. I just put it in the container. So that is our wet ingredients. We're going to give them a quick mix. One thing about biscuits, you don't overmix them. So there's our biscuit mix, and we are going to throw in a big old handful of cheddar cheese, maybe 2. Big handful, let's do 2. Calls for 4 ounces, so you can measure if you want. We are going to fold that in. Don't whip it, don't beat it, be gentle with it. We want them to be tender. So that is it. I have a baking sheet on which I have parchment paper, used parchment paper because I reuse it. And I am just going to take dollops of this and with the other spoon, plop it on the parchment paper. This will make about 9. You don't want them to be perfectly round. You don't want to form them. The little jagged edges help make the crispy tops. This is it, guys. This is it. How cool is this? My problem is I generally make them too big because I like them. See, like we're not going to get 9, we're only going to get 8 because I made them too big. That's how I roll. My kitchen, my rules. Your kitchen, your rules. If you make them smaller, they won't take as long to cook. If you make them bigger, they'll take longer to cook. If you make them too big, don't do that, you'll burn them. Okay, I used everything up. My oven has been preheating. It is at 450 degrees. I am going to put these in the oven for 10 to 12 minutes, and that is it. We are going to have fabulous, wonderful, warm, cheesy biscuits. How quick was that? Let's put them in the oven. We'll check shortly and see what they look like coming out. Oh my goodness, look what just came out of the oven. Just what long sleeves are for. These are fabulous. They smell so good. I have a beautiful plate here. I am going to put them on this plate. Look at the presentation. Oh, these are hot. Hot. Look at the presentation on these. Everybody will be impressed, but more importantly, you will be impressed because that is what is important. Confidence in your cooking. Use a pot holder, not your sleeve. All right, these are the biscuits. While they were baking, which took the full 12 minutes today, I made some coffee and I cleaned the kitchen. So I am gonna sit down with some coffee have a couple of these biscuits for breakfast. I'm so excited I can't even talk. They smell good. They are always tender and crisp. You can see the top right here, where we didn't form it, where we let it be its natural self, are little crispy bits. Look at that steam. Can you see that, I hope? Cheese on the inside. So good. A little bit of a crunch. Lots of cheese. Lots of butter. And garlic powder. What more do you need? That's what you taste. The cheese, the butter, and the garlic powder. All right, fabulous. Look how easy this was. You can whip these up in no time. You don't need anything special in your pantry. I'm gonna go sit and have some coffee. Have a great rest of the day. Thanks for joining me. I hope this gave you something else that you can make confidently. I have made these before with buttermilk instead of milk when I had buttermilk that I needed to use up. It works fine. You can add parsley to it. You can, when they come out of the oven, pour some garlic butter that you've melted over the top to make them gooier. Make them be yours. Don't think you have to follow a recipe exactly. Make it yours. All right, thanks again. Have a great day. Bye-bye. I'm going to eat the biscuit.